Hi guys, Dawn McGrath here. To continue our discussion on the defenses against the grab and stab, we're going to start the process with defenses against the jab, because a jab is a lot faster than a grab. If you can defend against the jab or escape the jab, you should be able to escape the jab, the grab I should say. So a jab, snaps, delivers, and comes back, but a grab is more like a fencer's lunge. The person is going to go on that line until he grabs a piece of you. And since the intent here is to physically grab someone, it's going to approach you slower from a more committed kind of feeling. Where the jab is probative, the grab is more committed, and that tends to slow it down. So let's start with the jab. We're going to start with the guard. Our guard's going to be higher than a boxer's guard. You don't want to take taking a punch with gloves on is one thing, but if you do that in the street and the guy's a knife in his hand, you're going to get that right in the forearm, and you don't want anything going in your eyes. So your guard is high enough to protect your eyes, and you want your elbows, forearms parallel to one another. Don't spread them out and leave your armpit and ribs open. So Dan's going to do that. He's going to get in stance. What I'm going to do is take a measurement, a safety measurement here. I'm going to go out and touch his chin with my fingertips, and then throw my punch from there. So I'm really not trying to hit him in the jaw at first. I'm really teaching him to get reaction time from range. Later on, you have the sparring. It's going to be more realistic with proper equipment on. But for right now, this beginning level, that's how I like to do it at this range. So the jab slow. What we're going to do is tap it with the back of his hand, or the front of his hand, should I say. Slap it, and then we're going to start going a little faster, a little faster. I'm going to throw fakes. Let him move, try to get around him, and let him get used to dealing with the hand at speed. The next step on that, and I'll demonstrate, if Dan goes and measures on me, right? He goes up. We started with just a slap. So we punch this slap, right? Simply because it's a lot faster to move just my hand than larger pieces of my body. The next stage, though, instead of just tapping the hand, I'm going to roll the whole forearm to catch. And the reason for that is, if I simply block his hand and slap it, I still may be bringing a piece of his arm into my forearm or shoulder, whatever, which you don't want to do in a knife attack. So as quickly as possible, I want to get him used to processes that will still work against knife. So he punches in, I roll the whole forearm. I'm taking his hand, and you probably can't see it on the camera, but Dan stands there. What's happening is he comes in, and that just charges straight in. I have this parried enough where it will miss my forearm or miss my shoulder. The next step will be he throws a punch, and I slip it. And I deliberately go past his shoulder on this, so I have better access to his body. When I teach this empty hand, I'll let the hand stay in center line, my left hand, so that the jab can counter his jab. I'll throw my beat on his beat or my jab on his jab. But for right now, I'm just slipping through. You can do this as just a weave at first, and then do it as a step through. And we'll do this from both leads, because obviously the guy might be throwing a knife at you with both hands. He might be doing the grab with his left, punching with the right, or step with the right. He might be a lefty, so you got to get used to the right hand grabbing, the left hand stabbing. And the process of this, if you go back up, and he throws the jab, is similar to knife work, where let's say there's an open knife in my hand, he comes in, I want to counter this, get off of that line, and then take my counter attack directly from there. So we'll show how we do that with pad work in a moment. Okay, the next step is to do this as a pad drill. You want to pad it, focus it on your right hand. Left hand's going to do the grab. On the grab, your right hand's going to come up to your shoulder. He's going to start off slapping that and then hammer fisting, and I'll explain why in a minute. So you're going to start up. Our signal to move is when I go up on guard, he goes up on guard. Later on, you can do this as I do a draw. He gets up on guard, moves offline. I'm walking towards him. My hand disappears. He gets offline. I approach him. My hand can't see my hand. That should be a signal for him to be alert, get offline. But for right now, let's just start with I raise my hands as a signal to get ready. So I lunge, come in. He slaps that, moves to my back in a position where he can do a takedown of some type or a hit, etc. We'll show those in a minute. So same thing from here. He's going to slap as I charge in with the lunge. All right, now let's say we start the fight. Let's say you're going to your car and you have a flashlight in your hand as you go to your car. You're writing on a clipboard with a pen, whatever it is. You have something in your hand. Don't drop that. Use that as an impact weapon. So now you're going to do hammer fist. So hands come up, and there's the hammer fist. On this side, hands come up, and there's the hammer fist. All right, and then we show you some details of the takedowns and the escapes in a moment. Okay, guys, just to show you, not just young, quick guys can do this. It's not super speed, it's just efficient technique. That's all it is. It's not rocket science. When he comes in, I take that step, and I'm already here. His lunge towards me to grab covers that distance. So it makes my job easier. I just got to take a little step. I'm already on his face. Why is the arm still hanging out here? Well, it's not realistic. This is not a jab. It's not a boxing jab. He's not trying to touch you and come back. He's trying to grab something. He's waiting for impact in his fist and then close on that. When he doesn't hit it at the point he expects, he'll reach and continue slightly beyond that, trying to get that hit. That's why we're not blocking him. We're not blocking a hard block and then coming in, because hard impact on the arm sends a signal to him that he missed, that I blocked him. However, if he comes in and there's no or very little contact here, and I'm up in his face hitting, he doesn't have enough time to react on that. The arm stays out there. It doesn't really matter if he tries to pull back quickly. You know, you can do that in your training. But this realistically is what's going to happen in a fight. You know, if you just, all you do is boxing, you're not used to that. But people in the street, you know, will reach for you and keep going until they get the technique they expected. And that really happens in a, you know, half second, quarter second. But that's all you need to get the technique done. Watch again. He reaches for me. He's expecting this. He's expecting to grab the shoulder, the shirt area, the throat, whatever, right? When he reaches up, I'm in because he's coming halfway towards me. It's not, I'm not the Flash, obviously. It's just efficient technique. So, show that from the other side. You're going to get my back, but I want you to see both sides. He comes in, I come in, I turn, and I hit. He comes in, look, he comes in, and I slip. If you throw a jab, if I can slip the jab, throw the jab, I can slip the jab, then when he comes in, I can slip the grab. It's not rocket science. It's not magic martial arts. You know, it's just taking things a logical step progression through the movement. All right, so now, let's start over here. What happens when you get to his back? He comes in, I come in, I hit, I get into his face. It could be a hammer fist in the nose, it could be a slap to the eyes, the fingers in the eyes. Once I hit, I continue that motion around to the back. I want to get my middle fingers in his eye sockets. I'm levering off his trapezius muscle with my forearms, and I duck my head so he can't stab over the top. If he hits me, he gets the top of my head, not the eyes or throat, and I'm going to knee the kidney. I'm going to step on the back of the knee. I'm going to step on the ankle. I'm going to drive the knee into the concrete, do something to disable him, then throw him on the ground. Conversely, if he's bigger and stronger than me, but I have a sidearm on, it may be advantageous for me to break distance after raking his eyes and then getting something in my hand to fight with and then continue the fight from there. So you want to give your people options. You know, am I armed? Am I not armed? Is the guy bigger than me, smaller than me? Do I have the strength to do these empty hand techniques to disable somebody? You know, who may be bigger, stronger, maybe younger and faster, whatever. You know, you need enough tools in your toolbox to say, okay, what problem is this? How do I solve the problem? Do I have these tools in my toolbox to solve problem A, problem B, problem C? And that's all what this is about. Thank you.